Hey guys, I am working on some blocks today. Pardon my hair. I'm doing the mystery quilt blocks. There's one of them. I'm just stitching them out. I figured I'd come on and let you guys watch me make them if you're interested in watching. So if not, that's fine too. But I'm going to turn it over here to the embroidery machine and let you see my embroidery machine. My iron's here, ironing mat, and my embroidery machine, and we're just gonna do them. All right, so that one, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through this block. I'm gonna pull up YouTube. Make sure I don't have my volume on. Oh look, there I am. Yay! And then hey Lori. You're gonna get to see the side of my head, unfortunately. Okay, so I've got that one done. I was listening to Miss Ellen and I thought, well, why don't I go live? Somebody else probably wants to see this. And see, my pieces have heat and bond on the back, but that little iron was not cutting it. And I'm wondering if my heat and bond is old because it's not sticking every time. This is what I was talking about wanting to use the little iron for, was to not have to take the whole thing out of here. So that stitch that it just put down is called a placement line. You probably know that, Lori, but not everyone does. And then what I'm doing is I'm just laying my fabric right along that placement line. Then I'm going to set my iron on top. And I'm doing it a little bit at a time so that I keep that whole curve lined up. Mine doesn't get hot enough to do it either. So as you can see, I have my big iron here. The little one would be nice. I mean, the hoop's big enough to do the big iron in it without a problem. But I was thinking that little one would be nice because then I could do smaller sections of the stitch areas at a time. And that little bitty corner doesn't want to stick. So as you can see, I'm cheating. Little tiny bit of glue. The lines are in the embroidery that you create. I have the video filmed, I just have to edit it. That tells you how to create your embroidery file in Simply Applique. Yeah, it's not in your machine, it's in the file. There's actually two lines. Becky at Power Tools and she eliminates this next line that this is going to sew. Are you going to cry if I move this? Probably, right? Let me do it slow. So hopefully I don't make you too dizzy. This is going to sew a line right around the piece. And don't put your fingers in here, but I'm going to, because I'm going to try to keep my piece laying where I want it. This line is called a tack down line. And this is supposed to tack your fabric down. You don't need it if you're using heat and bond. You're going to say it now. You don't need it if you're using heat and bond, if your heat and bond sticks, but I'm not brave enough yet to take it out. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to have it stitch, and you can't see this over here, but it shows me which section it's on to stitch. For some reason, the screen on this, hey Colleen, oh, I see the hearts. Yay! And this took, I won't say a lot of time, but it took a decent amount of time to get the file created and in the Simply Applique and everything. And I was like, I could have sewn, hey Sylvia, it's a nice surprise to see you. But it was kind of a pain to get all of that put together. And then it tells me it's finished embroidering. But then once I got it all put together, I was like, this is so much faster. Because I just snipped off a little tiny piece of extra fabric. And then Sherlock, here it is on my ironing mat. And I'm just taking the magnetic hoop off. This magnetic hoop, you never want to put it on there without something in between the two hoops, because then you'll never get it to come loose. I'm going to take my stabilizer off the back, and you guys can probably see, or you'll be able to in a minute, I'm reusing my stabilizer as much as I can because I hate wasting it. I mean, I've got a whole roll of it. It's not like I'm broke on it or anything, but I'm just like, why do I have to use a humongous piece every time? And I was doing these while I was watching Miss Ellen, and I was like, why am I not live myself? So there's my block, and I have done half a dozen of them in just the last hour or so. And I went back in, George Jetson flying towards the moon. But I went back in and I made my stitch width wider because I was like, this is not what I want. All right, so, and y'all can see I am cheating bad here. Thank you. I made the design myself, Sylvia. And see, I mean, I can use this little piece here to put this in and do it. Actually, Wayne designed the pieces on, he's got Adobe Acrobat. And then I kind of put them together into a design. And I still don't know what I'm calling it. I've named the file Sudoku in my computer because I have a vague idea that I may turn all of the blocks a different direction. This is why they call it a snap hoop, because that magnet just pulls it all together. And my blocks that I'm using are bigger than what I want my finished block to be. My finished block, excuse me, I want it to be 8.5, but I cut these at 10 to give me some wiggle room. And then I'm going to start the next one. Oh, thank you, Colleen. I appreciate that. All right, you guys don't want to look at my mat. You want to see what I'm doing here, I assume. So I've still got my embroidery file pulled up. I've reloaded my hoop in here. I'm going to drop my presser foot and hit start. Yeah, well, it's going to have black sashing if I have enough of the black, Sylvia. And probably going to be a little boy quilt. So this is called a placement stitch. And Sylvia creates her own embroidery by using a hoop on her regular sewing machine. I'm not that talented, but I give kudos to anyone who is. And then what I'm going to do next is I've got all my pieces cut. I cut them using my scan and cut. And I'm going to put the iron on there and iron that down. I don't want to keep moving the camera back and forth. I'm going to slide y'all back over here where you can kind of see the whole section. And then I can chit chat and not feel like I'm going to knock the camera off. Because that's the other reason to move that. And then when I set my iron down on my heat and bond, I lost volume. Did it come back? Did the volume come back? Yes, it did, and I'm yelling at you guys. Sorry. Oh, when I listened to it on my phone, it was quite loud. I didn't mean to yell at you guys. And I assumed that it was my iron that was giving me fits. But some of my heat and bond doesn't seem to be holding at these little edges. So I'm adding a little bit of glue. Improvise, adapt, and overcome, right? So I'm just adding a little bit of glue there so that it will stay down, because when I do that tack down stitch, I don't want anything to move. You can hear me, yay! I just can't move that camera whenever I'm actually live, I think. I haven't noticed that problem when I record. Okay, so now I've got my piece ironed down, and it's going to do a tack down stitch. And I just said this a minute ago, the tack down stitch isn't necessary if your heat and bond is working, according to Becky at Power Tools with Thread. I'm not as brave as she is, so I'm leaving the tack down stitch in there. Oh, I'm so glad you got to go out, Sylvia. That must mean you're feeling some better. All right, now it's going to stitch the piece down. And I'm not going to tell you blow by blow after this one. I just wanted to show you like one whole block. And then I can answer questions too. But I'm so glad you got to go out. It really does make a huge difference. And I've threatened that I'm going to make myself a bib. Wayne got me some new shirts over the weekend, and I swear I spilled food on one of them the minute I got it. Or the minute I put it on. Sylvia, does that mean you might be up to doing a sewing bee soon? Because I'm thinking maybe this weekend or next weekend. One or the other. And y'all can see my fancy dancy container for all my pieces parts. There's this little bowl. I don't know what Wayne brought me in the day I was looking for a place to put them. All right, and then we're going to put our little circle on here. Okay, yeah, the bowl does work. It turned out to be a nice spot to keep all those because I didn't have to worry. The bowl holds everything. All those little pieces I was worried that they'd end up flying all over the place, and they have stayed in there with no issues. I need to just leave my iron still for a minute. So what kind of dance competition? Is it ballet, Sylvia? I'm pretty sure you told me once before and my brain just spaced it. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say about embroidery machines, because I know Sherlock has one, is when you're putting things in and out, if it doesn't work easily, there's something wrong. So you need to stop and try again. Another tack down stitch. There's another thing that Becky does that I should have done. Becky at Power Tools with Thread, is she does, when she cuts her pieces, she cuts them just like a little bit bigger so that they actually overlap the sewing area a little bit. I wish I had done that, but I didn't. So I'm learning as I go. I figure by the time I do 16 of this block, I ought to have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing. Oops, I need to do one more thing here. I need to put my placement stitch for the next one. And now I'm going to quit yammering about this and we can just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I did turn on the 48 hours for subscribers. You have to be subscribed that long. I didn't want to do a surprise live and end up having a surprise troll. So if you happen to be a new subscriber to my channel and you're not able to speak, I'm sorry. You're welcome to leave a comment under the video. But we've been having issues with trolls here and on other channels. So this is my attempt to keep them out. And anything less than 2 days seems to not be effective. Oh, you've never seen Power Tools with Thread? I think she's in the bot !PTWT, the initials of her channel. So if you'd like to see that, she's really, really good and very advanced, and she gets into how to use the programs. And yep, there you go. She has a 10 needle machine, and she has a long arm and all the toys, all the equipment you could ever want. And she's really good with it. And she teaches it on a major level. Like she goes to conventions and stuff and gives classes. I'm nowhere close to that good. I've learned an awful lot from her and an awful lot from trial and error. And here's my heat and bond didn't stick again area. So I'm putting a little glue just to make it lay down. And I tried to use my glue stick, but it warps these little corners. Oh, she has a whole, I don't know if they converted a garage or if it's a little house or what, but she has the whole setup. I mean, the whole thing. You will be green with envy. But she has the time and the space and the know-how to do everything she does. I mean, she's got the high-end machines that I just can't afford. She doesn't come off, though, as hoity-toity. She's very down-to-earth and real. I mean, you go in there and you just feel like you're sitting down with a girlfriend and she's teaching you something. And then, of course, And then, of course, she starts talking about all the stuff in the computer, and you realize that this woman has to have been some kind of computer guru in her work life. One of the reasons that I thought I would go ahead and teach these, even though she's got really great tutorials, is to try to take it down to the average person's skill level. She makes it really simple, but sometimes I have to watch her videos 2 or 3 times to get them. Yay, Sylvia. Awesome, Sylvia. That's great. So you got to put your hand right back in. All right, and that one's done. Let me take that out and show it to you guys. And there's only, the colors are the same except for this one piece right here. I've got purple in some and green in some. And see, there's my little extra piece. And I kind of think they look like a dragon eye. But they literally started out as completely abstract pieces. And then as I was putting it together is when I got down to, okay, let's do this part. All right. I have to get another piece. For shame, for shame. Oh, awesome, Sylvia. So there might be about to get you fixed up to where you feel human again, huh? And this time I'm just going to use the one piece. I have all these. I'll probably use those on the next blocks. This is also a great example of small space work, because as you can tell, usually I have my ironing mat right here and my cutting mat, and I wanted to move the embroidery machine to somewhere where it wouldn't shake. Oh, I hope so, Sylvia. I'm loving your slow stitch series, but I know how I'd feel if it was my sewing machine. Remember, they call it a snap hoop for a reason, guys. And that's because it will snap at you if you don't keep your fingers out of the way. And that's a little bit crooked, but I'm okay with that because I've got 1.5 inches all the way around to play with. Yeah, they could sort your eyes out. That would be awesome. That would be the most frustrating thing for me, is trying to figure out what's wrong with my eyes, and is it going to be permanent, or is it just going to be, you know. And imagine how much longer that would have taken if you hadn't gone in when you did, Sylvia. Wow. If you have questions about anything I'm doing here, just let me know. There will still be a tutorial video, but, you know. They think they found a brain, huh, Sylvia? Okay. And like I said, I still don't know if this heat and bond failed or what happened here because these little corners are not laying down. I has a solution for it, but it's irritating that it didn't work like it was supposed to. And yes, I want you to get your solution and your eyeballs back because you got lots to teach. Just making sure my glue is dry. It's also not a bad idea to let it cool down before you start stitching. Colleen was watching something earlier and she was like, "Oh, I know they're talking, but all I can see is the baby." And I was like, "I'm like that." But I don't know if it's picking up the sewing machine or the beeping or any of that. I did not turn on the sound so that it would pick all that up. Oh, I'm just thrilled that I was able to create my own pattern and take it from, okay, we had an idea to now I'm stitching it out. I think that's awesome. I'm impressed with myself for that one. And yes, I know I could change thread colors and do all that, but I decided I didn't want to. I did, however, go back in and recreate, or not recreate, but change the stitch width and the stitch length so that I would get a longer stitch. Oh yeah, this is just, I could never sit here and do all this by hand. And even doing it by machine, my shoulder's hurting a little bit now. But can you imagine how badly it would hurt if I had to sit here and turn and twist all of this stuff around and around? I would just be like, no way, I'm just going to go ahead and put, because I know it's going to need it, so I may as well just put it under there, right? Lay my circle down. I think I must have a bad batch of heat and bond. Combined with the little iron won't get completely hot. Oh, it's Flag Day? Well, happy Flag Day. Have you actually made any triangles with it yet, Colleen? Or have you not got to sit down and do that yet? Because your friends keep going live. Yeah, there's also an Arbor Day, which I think is trees. Boy, that's hot. I can feel it coming off of it. Give it a second to cool down. You had a mess to clean up first. That cools off pretty quick, obviously. So now we're going to do the tack down stitch. And then we're going to do the blankie stitch. I didn't want to do satin stitching on this. I just thought that would be too much. Because I'm thinking this is going to end up being a little boy's quilt. But you see how fast these are going together? I mean, really? What's it taking? Maybe 5 or 6 minutes? Oh, that's a cool idea. Making Tibetan prayer flags. Okay, and now we're going to do the placement stitch for this last little bit. I think I'm probably about halfway through these. And I kind of just wanted somebody to talk to while I did it. And I could have gone in Discord. I think everybody in here is in my Discord. We're in the Discord that I'm in. Hubby's off the phone now. I'm just going to go ahead and put glue at the little ends here. I'm ironing it dry. And then just setting the iron down flat. I have no patience when it comes to letting things get ironed. Maybe you should get your own set of calipers, then you don't have to worry about where his are. I have no clue on calipers. How much they are, how often you use them. If I were a mechanic, I'd probably have intimate knowledge of them, right? Yeah, that glue is helping that stay down there really well. And now the blankie stitch. Yeah, I would have intimate knowledge of calipers as a mechanic because they have to gap. They have to gap spark plugs and check brake pads and some other crazy stuff, right? I show my non-mechanical knowledge. I think this is going to be the cutest quilt. It's telling me it's finished embroidering, so I'm going to hit OK. Pull my little thingy out. They didn't cut my bobbin thread. What's up with that? Why didn't you cut that? Bobbin's still plenty full. It should be fine. They call the brace on his leg calipers. That's interesting. Now I'm going to be a little bit careful with this one as I cut it, as I pull it off, because I want to use the outside part of it, and I'll use some of those other scrap pieces I have to cover the center. I know, you don't have to be that cheap, but I am. So you should get yourself a pair, Colleen, to use. And I'm actually starting to get a rhythm on this. About the time I figure out the rhythm, I will be done, right? I want to lay that so that's over, mostly over to the side. You see, there's all that can still be used. You have an order from Amazon that you are building. That's good. Once again, that's why they call it a snap hoop. Because if you snap your fingers in there, it will hurt. It might even do something like leave a blood blister on your finger. Got my thumb earlier. I know you can't see that. This is, let's see, on camera, I think I've done that. I'm starting the third one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've only got 7 more to go. Well, 6 once I get the one in there done. Because I'm doing 16, right? Yeah, 16. I'm doing 4 rows of 4. Stuff should be okay. She was on yesterday or the day before. No, she's back now. But it did take her, I know she had lots of delays coming home. There was, I think someone had a heart attack and died either on the flight she was on or the connecting flight. So she got hung up by that. I know she ended up spending an extra night in, I think, Toronto. And she may just, you can't unsee the dragon eye. She may just have forgotten to reopen it, Colleen, because she doesn't know that you're anxiously waiting to buy stuff from her. Send her a PM and tell her that you want to buy stuff from her. And tell her she needs to open so you can spend your money. Your play money. Like I said, I don't know if it's the heat and bond that's the problem or if it was me. I'm just laughing at you, Colleen. I'm sorry. I have no mercy on my sewing machine. I just make it do its thing. Terrible. Yeah. And it's the absolute truth. The years go faster the older you get. It's already the middle of June. Like, really? How did that happen? Let me plug my phone in while I'm thinking about that. Just happened to see the cord sitting there and went, oh, that would be a good idea. I almost pulled that out. I have to think. Oh, wow. Yeah, doesn't seem like it was all that long ago you were making all that stuff. That was in the fall, wasn't it? Now, did he get enough to pay his way? So Colleen is going to do Christmas all of 2024. That'll be interesting. Are you going to do nothing but Christmas? Yeah, you did. Yeah, Sylvia, it does seem like you just made all that stuff. Oh, awesome. Yeah, with lots of help from Grandma Sylvia. I mean, I'm sure other people in the family help too, but wow. You know why I want to get these done, right? Is because I have the sunbonnet suit sitting in there and I want to do them. But they involve changing colors of thread. That's what family does. Well, I wasn't seeing dragon to start with, Colleen, but after you said dragon eye, I can't unsee it either. My shirt keeps a rolling up. I want to get them done because I want to play with the sunbonnet suits. And that's an off-camera thing. See, it didn't cut my thread again. What's wrong with you, machine? I'll have to do some troubleshooting, but I'm not doing it while I'm live. I ended up doing a repair on the Jazz the other day while I was doing the Memories podcast. And I was like, really? Do y'all want to see this? Apparently, a lot of people did because it's gotten quite a few views. But the Jazz apparently has a spot where thread can get caught up above your threading lever and wrap around there. It's smog. Oh, I'm loving your slow stitch stuff, Sylvia. I was sitting there scrolling through it backwards this morning. Because, I wanted to see them in order. So I started at 1 and watched all the way. I think it was 7 was the last one I saw. I got sidetracked. right, next step. Have you got a meeting? I apologize, it started sewing. Did you say yes? Oh, okay. Okay. Let me know.
Is that chiming? Is that that thing? Okay.
Yeah, it's the embroidery machine.
Yeah, I was sitting there, basically practicing this with my emails, and one of the emails, new emails, oh, special open chat GPT for creating recipes, right? They want you to buy into it. Usually it's like,
I'm live, right?
Huh?
You do know I'm live.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just didn't know if you wanted to share that on the live. I figured I'd make my dragon blocks. Well, I guess they're dragon blocks. That's what Colleen keeps calling them. You kind of look like dragon eyes.
Game of Thrones. There you go.
Game of Thrones. Now, see, that time it cut the embroidery thread. It's on crack. He started talking about Chat GPT and something that he wants to do in it. And I just didn't know if you wanted to tell that in. Everybody says hi, honey. He says hi back. We're talking about something in Chat GPT. I didn't know if you wanted that to be like out there for public consumption. Some things he doesn't mind, but he's down. So was that 9, Sylvia? Sylvia was keeping count. I wasn't. How cheap can I be? I can be this cheap. How practical can I be? Cheap isn't the word I wanted. But I'm like, there's these great big pieces of this stuff, and it all gets torn away anyhow. You don't keep it on there. Like when you make your final quilt, I'm only leaving it in the little areas in case I have to go back and touch something up. But I'm like, why does it have to be a whole complete piece? It just matters that there's some stability behind the thread as you sew these, right? And really, I could probably do these without the stabilizer because I'm only doing blanket stitch. But I kind of want to be safe about it. Okay. I have a little wrinkle in there. Let me fix it. All right, stitch. I'm working on it. Getting them done. I don't even know how long I've been on here. 45 minutes. Not bad. I have an hour and 11 minutes ago. Oh, so I can catch up with your 2-hour live from Monday? No. We aren't trying to do that. I wanted someone to talk to while I did it. because you can only talk to yourself so much. You know, staff meetings and expert advice and all that aside. That one did pretty good. Let's try to place stitch it. I figure if it messes up while I'm doing this, that's fine. I can fix it later. But the only way to learn what not to do is to screw up and do it. Like, do you know why you guys never saw a video about how to do edge-to-edge quilting on my embroidery machine? It's because I walloped that up big time. I messed it all up. So I have to practice some more before I can show you. If you don't start playing with it, Colleen, you're never going to learn it. All thing I can say is keep your fingers out of the way. It's already threaded. You've seen basics. You just need to do it. And the worst thing you can do is break something. Better than nothing. I think we all want to see that you're alive. Yes, Colleen. Yes. I think you need to adjust that t-shirt too. Putting glue on earlier worked pretty well, so let's do that again. It's easier to do it before I put the fabric down than after I've got it down and then have to pull parts of it up to get it down there. And the glue sticks. You could adjust your t-shirt with your sewing machine, but it's so much easier with the serger. See, I adjusted my t-shirt. Oh, you can't see that in the camera. This one it fits perfectly, but I wanted just a little bit more wiggle room. Because when I'm on camera, I'm reaching and stuff. Oh, that's down well. And that's perfectly fine. I noticed that it was a little baggy on you. I just thought you had been losing weight. Stress will do that to you. I think when I get these done, this machine deserves a cleaning. I've got a heart sitting there, so I can't. 30 pounds. Wow. I've got it doing a blanket stitch, Sylvia. Just a simple blanket stitch. But I started out, the machine had it at 1.5. I widened it to 2.0. And then after I'd done a couple, I thought that's not wide enough to suit me. So I widened it to a 3. It's okay if it's loose, but it's not okay if it's like this loose, where everything's just kind of, it looks like you're hollow. Once again, I'm going to use a little bit of glue on these corners because that heat and bond doesn't seem to be doing a very good job there. And on my next one, I will figure out what caused that issue and fix it. Maybe it's that my little corners are too narrow on the design piece, so I need to make them a little wider and rounder. That does kind of look like you put chocolate pretzels on the crochet. I've been craving jalapeno poppers. And then someone I know was talking about cheese sticks. Hold what up to the camera? Oh, hold this up to the camera so you can see that blanket stitch. I don't know about the 30 years, Sylvia. I'm working on the poundage. I'm really liking it, but I made the blanket stitch. You can see it better on the back. Wider, so it's a 3.0 instead of a 2, because it didn't seem to be catching all the way into the edge of my fabric, and I really wanted it to catch all the way to the edge of my fabric. And I just realized I'm going to be in trouble. You were trying to see the stitching, okay. Come on, let me get that little piece of thread before I stitch the next thing. When it puts down the tack down stitch, it leaves a little like 1/4 inch tail of thread. It's just easier to take it off now than to cut it out once I take it out of the hoop. 30 years will put me back in a bad spot, so now I'll stay where I'm at. Another block done. I think it's time for a new piece. What'd that one just do? 4? One thing they haven't had to do for me yet is put me on steroids. Thank goodness. I'm not bragging. That's just, haven't had to do that one lately. It will hold thread spools. It will not hold paint bottles. See if I can show you mine. See it up on the wall? Trying not to show you the toilet. It'll hold thread spools pretty easily, I think. Sorry. Food on my face. Wipe my face clean. This is what it looks like anyway. These are handy for lots of things. Let's see, do I still have food on my face? I think I got it. Yeah, I like it. Honestly, if you're looking at nail polish holders, I would get the ones that are like one shelf at a time. You broke my life. I would look at the ones that had the separate shelves, because then you could put a couple of shelves by this machine, a couple of shelves by that machine. They make the like sets of 4. Okay, and so here we go. We got 1, 2, 8, 9. We have 11 done. Wow. So 11 of them. Yeah, I did show one. I'm trying to see one of the ones that has the skinnier blanket stitch on it. See, that one has a skinnier blanket stitch. And it doesn't look like it's completely secure right here. 16, Sylvia. I need to do 5 more. That's not bad. Because I had 1 done when I started this morning. 1 or 2. So 11 of them, that's not bad. My shoulder's done doing this, by the way, for the day. Because I want to do, these are 10 inches, and I want to make them 8.5, and then put a 2.5 inch sashing in between them. And right now, the thought process is this black batik as the sashing in between, because that white's got a little white pattern in it. And then I might do cornerstones, and I don't know if the cornerstones will be orange, yellow, or both, but I'm thinking either 2 or 2.5 inch sashing with a cornerstone and these. And this is obviously a boy quilt. I mean, I don't think you could do anything except a boy quilt. I have 56 minutes left. I'm not going to stay on for another 56 minutes. I can't do that. I'll have to take drugs to stay on that long. And y'all won't like me on drugs. I get a little too weird. I talk about things like, you think yellow? You like the yellow better than the orange, Sylvia? With my colors? Because that's why I kept the blues and greens in the block and the purple. Let's see. Where's my purple? Yeah, I kind of see what you're saying now that I see it on camera. The yellow probably does look better than the orange. But anyway, so that's my plan. And of course, that's probably going to be the baby quilt. You like the orange? I like orange too. But I was looking for something that would be looking for the right words. Tough enough for a baby And I don't make pretty quilts, I make utility quilts. So I want something that's sturdy, that can get dirty and be used and then go in the washer and work very well. Yellow and blue make green, so it works better. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And then I just have to figure out, once I lay them out, if I want the 2-inch, I'm filling my cup. If I want the 2-inch or the 2.5-inch sashing. And I kind of think that I may be doing the eyes or whatever you want to call them so that they turn all different directions. Because in my head, I've got Sudoku floating around. But I hadn't thought about Dragon Eye. I am still planning a live for tomorrow. I just felt like going live today while I made those blocks. I may do an early live for tomorrow. Maybe we do an early live tomorrow. Instead of the 2 o'clock, do it early, like 10. I stay confused, Colleen. I didn't even put on YouTube today. Oh my. Yeah, well, I'm not going to do clean early. I'm not going to do 6 a.m. But maybe 9 or 10. Bring my coffee in, and hopefully I'll have, once I give my shoulder a bit of a rest, I'll be able to come back in and do those other blocks. Yeah, well, I'm just thinking, let's avoid the rain. And 2 o'clock in the afternoon, nor 7 seems to be avoiding the rain. So what's going to happen now? Tomorrow is oh, okay, Sylvia, that's great. What's going to happen tomorrow is if I do decide to do it at like 9 or 10 in the morning, then it's going to pour rain at that time. Well, yeah, but that's because the rest of your schedule is crazy enough that you have to do that. Hi, Kelly. We're still here. Yeah. Colleen's trying to make me stay live until until I hit the 2 hours. What were you sewing? I was sewing on embroidery blocks. I was working on my mystery quilt. I think Colleen may have convinced me to change the name. Or between Colleen and Sylvia. What do you see when you see that? See, I just saw abstract shapes, and then I put it into a design. And now I'm seeing golf. Space golf. Well, now I'm seeing the dragon eyes. George Jetson needs to go on it. 35 10-inch squares. Okay. Are you still making crumb blocks, Kelly? These aren't really crumb blocks. These are not really scrappy. I picked the fabrics for this specifically. And then I cut them on my skin cuts. And then I created the embroidery pattern, and now I'm sewing it. And then I want to put the quilt together. But 35 10-inch squares. So you're making a 7. How big of a quilt are you making? Layer chops pattern. I haven't seen that one. I haven't been to Donna Jordan's in a while. I need to get over there and watch because I usually like her patterns. I've been avoiding watching other people who write their own patterns because I was writing my own pattern. So I kind of got out of the habit of watching them for a minute. I watched Kate at Last Homely House. I guess it was her last monthly upload. And she was doing different sizes of an Irish chain quilt. And now I want to make an Irish chain quilt. And I don't need to be making an Irish chain quilt. I need to be doing this quilt that I've got. I've got to finish this one. I have a baby quilt to finish. Oh, yeah, I love those projects. And the different sizes that she did, the squares in, I was just like, check that out. Yes, Sherlock, I have to get caught up because I've got to finish that one and get that one quilted. And then I want to finish putting together all the stuff that's on my design wall. I'm not going to fly the camera around. You have the Drunkard's Path in your Amazon cart. Why are you buying a Drunkard's Path? You can make your own Drunkard's Path template easily. Really easily. For 2022. And we're already at grad season for 2023, right? Oh, and I'm sorry that you said that because, oh, I have one that just got his driver's license. I'm biting my tongue because I'm like, okay, that one, it really is super simple to make that one. And I cut mine with the Cricut when I did mine, so I can't really say a whole lot. But yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. How much is the acrylic template for that? I just don't think that the template on a circle works great because it's not very easy to maneuver. Those acrylic templates. With paper templates, you can actually stack up some fabric. There you go. Save your money, Colleen. But with the paper templates, you can stack up your fabric and cut them out with scissors or with a rotary cutter. That's not horrible. I just hate paying for rulers if they're not something you're going to use a whole lot. And that one could actually be, if you have the oval ruler for like flower petals, you could use that as to cut Drunkard's Path. That piece of hair sticking out is just quit, Esmeralda. See, if Sherlock has it, she can send it to you because she's not going to make her Drunkard's Path anytime soon. It was one of the first videos I did was how to do those silly curves for that thing. It's been in the box for a few years. You could put marks on your ruler and then use a pencil to transfer those marks to your fabric easily and not have to pay for those slits. And I programmed it into my Cricut with the slits in it. I had all that. There you go. Colleen, she's told you, I'm not giving away your stuff for you, Lori, but she has told you a million times that she has all these rulers that were gifted to her. It looks like I'm wearing glitter. Um, but she was gifted all these rulers, and she doesn't mind sharing with you. Say yes. Let her get some of that stuff out of her sewing room so that she can use her quilting frame and get her embroidery machine out and do that kind of stuff. So, yeah. And Lori, when you go through your room, if you find those two rulers and you see anything else that you think might be cool, you did see that look, right? Just send it to her. She'll use it. Okay. Poor Miss Ellen. Every time I go in her chat, she forgets my first name. So I always just tell her, or I tell somebody, "Oh, Lori, my first name's Melissa," and smile. You saw the look. Don't do that to me. You guys have seen my room. I have way more crud than I ever need. I need to start digging out fabric and using it up just to use it up. Um, but Colleen, yeah, she's a newbie sewer and she's just starting and she can use some of those things. And she's finding things that she wants. I wouldn't just dump a bunch of stuff on Colleen, but when you're talking rulers, I have my rulers in a notebook, my smaller ones in a notebook that I cannot reach right this minute. But I have my small rulers in a notebook with the little like things. I don't know why this camera keeps drifting. Um, but yeah, I use those and it works really well for me. Um, that's a small enough item organized, Colleen. If you don't like it, you can send it to someone who can use it. What kills me is when you see people, you guys have seen my room. If I was sitting here going, "Oh, send me fabric, please send me fabric," you guys would be going, "What's wrong with you? Are you nuts? Are you a hoarder?" I have fabric sitting at my feet that I need to put away. Um, so that would be done. But Colleen, like I said, newbie quilter, trying to start. Yeah, well, that works too. Whatever works for you as an organization system is fine. Um, and that right there, you guys see that thing right over my shoulder with all those scissors in it? I hate that thing. No, Sylvia, I didn't. I need to call my son. He's got a couple things up there for us. We're still kind of deciding whether we want to move north or if we're going to stay here or what's going on. We're jobs, retirement, medical, and now insurance for the house because the company that we have been getting insurance from is leaving Florida. So we're for a new insurance company. All that stuff is kind of churning around trying to figure out if we're going to stay here, if we are going to button down the hatches and go ahead and move. I hate the idea of moving. I would love to live near my son and daughter-in-law. But I think that outside things are going to decide whether we move or not. This stupid camera. Quit. Stop doing that. But anyway, so yeah, we're still, but we bought an alarm system to put in a house in Toledo because it was a great deal. Right. But we bought an alarm system and I've got your gift that's there. I really thought we would be moved before that ever arrived in the mail. And like I said, right now we're up in the air on 3 or 4 different things that we've got to get ironed out before we can decide which way we're going. I'm kind of like, just want to stay. But I don't know if that's going to be feasible. That kind of can't be decided until July 1st because the insurance company is leaving Florida. I think that the last month they're going to insure us is August. And so we can't start looking for a new insurance company until the 1st of July. And once 1st of July rolls around, then we'll go ahead and get an insurance quote and figure out if that's going to work for us or not. So, right. I'm a visual person. I like to be able to see things, but I don't necessarily want to be able to see everything. I kind of want to see a representation of it and then know where it's at. So, and right now I have all my machines on the counter behind me, which is great, but I wanted to put my computer on the table that is over against that wall, but none of my camera cords are long enough to do that. So I may have to rethink that idea. But, we work on things as they come, right? All right, I am going to wrap this up. I need to do those other 5 or 6 or whatever's left and get that done because live stream tomorrow may be putting together that quilt. I haven't decided for sure yet. And if it's not, then I have to figure out what block I'm going to make for the Quilt Builder card deck. Oh, that would be nice, Sylvia, wouldn't it? 2 bungalows and a big. See, that's kind of what I would like to have for us is a property that had like 2 houses on it. Yeah, I don't. Those rolly carts just aren't my thing. Anyway, I would love to have a property that had 2 houses on it and like a big barn. The barn would be workspace for the guys. It wouldn't be something that I would be in. All right, guys, I'm going to say bye for now. I appreciate you guys all dropping in and hanging out with me while I did some embroidery work. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the live, probably around 10. So look for me at 10. If you don't see me at 10, then it'll be at 2. All right. Love you guys. Bye for now. Stay out of trouble. It's okay. I'll give you a minute to put links in. All right. Bye, guys. All right. Bye.